McGraw-Hill Audio presents Make Yourself a Millionaire, How to Sleep Well and Stay Sane on the Road to Wealth by Charles C. Zhang and Lynn L. Chenzang. Read by Anna Fields. Chapter 1. The First Step. It's not an easy or a quick process to become wealthy. Actually, it takes a lot of discipline and hard work. However, recent history has shown us that becoming wealthy can indeed happen overnight. Over the past few years, we've seen many people strike it rich through the stock market. Internet stocks, IPOs, and stock options. It seemed that everywhere we looked there was someone else, and usually a young someone else, who had just suddenly become worth millions of dollars. Every week or so, there was another initial public offering of a company whose stock price would soar into the range of hundreds of dollars. People were quitting their jobs to become day traders, all in the name of money and riches. But counting on the stock market to make you a lot of money very quickly is not only risky, it's also highly unlikely. Especially now. Plus, if you had known then what you know now, for example, when to buy and sell Yahoo or Microsoft, would you have done what it takes to become rich off the stock market? Probably not. Buying low and selling high go against human nature. Just ask the man who bought Yahoo at more than $150 per share and watched the share price plummet to around $12 per share. The meteoric rise of the stock market in the 1990s was an abnormality. Will the stock market continue to go up? Sure, historically speaking, over the long term it will. But the markets will continue to rise and fall all the time. Will it skyrocket the way it did in the 90s? No one can say. Investors today are smarter, younger, and have more time to wait to make the returns they want. For those who are trying to make their first or their umpteenth million, today's market serves as a lesson of hurry up and wait. This is a road that the average investor just shouldn't travel alone. Here's the first secret that many wealthy people know. Hire a financial advisor to do some of the worrying for you. What is a financial advisor, and do you need one? A financial advisor? I don't need one. My cousin Tony is a whiz with investments and finances. If this is something you find yourself saying, stop. Unless your cousin Tony has taken classes and passed comprehensive exams, like the CFP boards, and works as a financial advisor, chances are you don't want to trust your retirement to him. Cousin Tony is probably not going to be able to help you decide if you need to invest in a traditional IRA or a Roth IRA. Nor will he be able to advise you on what the possible benefits of investing in an annuity would be for you. The best answers to these questions, and others like them, come in the form of a financial advisor. A financial advisor is there to keep you educated and invested for the long term when the market goes down, as well as when decisions are to be made. Put simply, he can be your best friend. Financial advisors or planners work with clients to find the best fit between the client and different investment vehicles. Some advisors are affiliated with national firms, while others work as independents. The last time you paid your car insurance, did your insurance agent offer you the chance to purchase a Roth IRA through him? More and more insurance agencies, banks, and even certified public accountants are getting into the investment business. Many of these people only promote and sell certain products. You may like the Oppenheimer Global Growth and Income Fund, but that doesn't mean that you should invest in every Oppenheimer fund. There are perhaps other mutual fund companies that would better fit your needs. Every investor's portfolio benefits from having choices available. Financial advisors have many different investment vehicles at their fingertips that help their clients achieve their goals. Advisors focus on these goals and needs to decide which investment is best, rather than applying a cafeteria plan to each client. At some point in time, everyone will need the help and expertise that only a financial advisor can provide. They offer a well-balanced approach to your finances. Let's face it, you may be too emotionally involved with your money to manage it properly. You have worked hard for your money and don't want to lose it. A financial advisor is the third party to your financial situation. Just like you wouldn't perform surgery on a family member, why should you perform surgery on your money? Recognizing the need for a financial advisor is the first step to taking control of your finances and increasing your wealth. Selecting the proper advisor is a harder task. This is a very important challenge. You need to find the right advisor for your situation. Receiving referrals from friends or family members is a good place to start. If they are willing to share the name of their advisor, that means that they trust him. However, if you are uncomfortable asking or don't know anyone who uses an advisor, then you will be starting from scratch. There are a few things to keep in mind when selecting your advisor. First, don't be afraid to interview your potential advisor or shop around. Most planners offer a free initial consultation. This will give you the chance to sit down with advisors and ask questions. Second, make sure you feel comfortable with your advisor. During your initial meeting, gauge how you feel. Did the staff make you feel welcome? Do you feel comfortable discussing the most intimate details of your financial situation with this advisor? Do you think you can trust this person? If you answer no to any of these questions, then you should probably continue to look for an advisor. Third, make sure that any potential advisor is qualified. Nowadays, almost everyone can call themselves financial advisors, but those same people could be delivering pizzas during the evenings. To make sure advisors are thoroughly knowledgeable, look for designations following their names. For example, Joe Smith CFP, CHFC, CLU. These designations mean that they have passed rigorous examinations. Quality counts. The CFP mark identifies financial advisors who have met the stringent education, experience, and ethics standards set by the Certified Financial Planner Board of Standards Incorporated. The CFP board not only owns the certification mark, it also licenses the qualified individuals to use it. Any advisor using the CFP mark has passed the board's certification and relicensing requirements. Only those licensed to use the CFP mark are allowed to represent themselves as certified financial planners. In this country, there are more than 700,000 people who represent themselves as financial planners. However, only about 4%, or 30,000, of those individuals are certified financial planners. Among the requirements to become a CFP is a 2-day, 10-hour certification exam that covers the financial planning process, retirement planning, tax planning, investment management, and insurance and estate planning. CFP candidates must also prove that they have the required work experience before being certified, and then must adhere to the rigid CFP board's code of ethics and professional responsibility. Additionally, there is an ongoing continuing education requirement that must be met in order to continue to use the CFP designation. Although other professional designations exist, the CFP is the most difficult, prestigious, and comprehensive designation available. The CHFC and CLU designations. Two common certifications that financial advisors earn are the CHFC and CLU designations. Both the CHFC, Chartered Financial Consultant, and CLU, Chartered Life Underwriter, can help you analyze your financial needs and choose the right course for maintaining and increasing your assets. They have studied the many areas of insurance and financial services and can assist with life and health insurance, estate conservation, etc. Both designations require comprehensive curriculums of 10 college-level courses. The CHFC designation also requires an additional 3 courses. Extensive education, experience, and ethics requirements must also be met. These designations are granted by the American College, a fully accredited institution in Pennsylvania. Your advisor, good or bad? You've gone through the interviewing process with a number of advisors and have picked one. This person seems very knowledgeable, and you feel like this is a good fit. However, the time may come when you decide that your financial advisor is just not the right one for you anymore. That's okay. It's perfectly all right to switch advisors if you feel that your advisor isn't doing the right thing for you. Here are some guidelines to help you make your decision. Do you understand what your accounts are doing and what they are designed to do? Although no one expects you to become an expert on every aspect of your portfolio, that's what your advisor is for, you should have some understanding of its components. If your advisor recommends investing in an annuity, make sure you are familiar with what an annuity is. Don't be afraid to ask questions. It will make you feel better. Be sure you are comfortable with the answers your advisor gives you, as well as with each individual product. I have a client who invested $20,000 in a real estate investment trust. At the time he purchased it, I explained how they work and the pros and cons of investing in one. I made sure he understood the product. Since then, he has asked me a number of times to re-explain the REIT. While other advisors may become irritated at having to explain the same things time and again, I don't. I'm glad my client wants to understand his investments. Does your advisor have your best interests at heart? When you review your portfolio, do you think your advisor is promoting his or her own agenda? Or does your advisor recommend investments that are suited for you? If you understand your investments, then the answer to this question will be easy. This also includes whether or not your advisor is following his or her own instincts, or if that person is basing recommendations on analysts' predictions. While it's important for your advisor to have a solid opinion of today's market, your portfolio shouldn't be solely based upon what one person thinks. Just because your advisor thinks it's a good time to invest in commodities doesn't mean that you should sink your entire retirement fund into that sector. Analysts' predictions can be right, but they can also be wrong. Rather, your account should be based upon your age, risk tolerance level, and circumstances. Is there a lot of activity in your accounts? Many advisors earn their money through commissions, not only when you purchase a product, but also when movements are made within your accounts. Your risk level should determine account rebalancing, not whatever is good for your advisor's pocket. If you feel there are excess transactions in your account, talk to your advisor about it. The only transactions that occur in your account should be done at your discretion and with your input. I meet with my clients at least twice per year. This doesn't mean, though, that I am changing things in the portfolio at least twice a year. I rebalance their portfolios only if they need to be. Changing around your investments more than necessary defeats the purpose of investing and may actually cause your portfolio to decrease in value. What kind of investments are you involved with? This relates to your understanding of your investments. Many brokers push certain products known as proprietary products. These are investments that are managed by the firm the advisor is affiliated with and thus will get paid more for. Take a look at your account statements. Do you see a lot of securities that all have the same name? For example, the XYZ Value Fund and the XYZ Growth Potential Fund? If so, ask your advisor why you are invested in these funds. They may be excellent funds, but there may be other similar funds that are better suited for you. Does your advisor know you financially? Have you been asked to show your tax return to your advisor? Is he or she in contact with your CPA? Does your advisor ask about your 401k at work? A good financial advisor needs to know everything about your financial life. If your 401k at work is heavily weighted in technology stocks and stock funds, your portfolio with your advisor shouldn't be. Make sure your advisor knows everything he or she needs to know in order to make the best possible recommendations to you. If your advisor doesn't seem to care or isn't listening when you bring it up, it's time to find someone else who will. Who are you making your checks out to? There are always stories in the newspapers about unknowing clients getting bilked out of thousands, even millions of dollars by some financial advisor. Always be sure that you are writing your checks out properly. For payment of consultation fees, it's okay to write a check directly to your advisor. If the advisor works as an independent, then it may be all right to write the check out to him or her personally. However, if the advisor is the agent of a registered investment firm, then do not make your check payable to the advisor personally. Who controls your portfolio? Some firms allow what is called discretionary power. This means that if you consent, your advisor can make moves within your portfolio without consulting you. For some clients, this is exactly what they want, and they are willing to take the risk associated with having a discretionary account. For most, though, discretionary power is a problem. A few months ago, I had a man come meet with me for the first time. He was unhappy with the performance of some of his accounts at another firm. He asked that we transfer his assets so that I could be his advisor. This man was out of the country quite a bit for business, and had given his advisor at the other firm discretionary control over his accounts. When we liquidated his holdings at the other firm, he discovered that one of his poorest performing assets was a unit investment trust, an investment he didn't even know he owned. His advisor had purchased it using discretionary power while the man was out of the country. Although this isn't a complete list of questions, these are the most important. If you find yourself in doubt about switching, trust your gut feeling. That will be your best guide. A word about fees. There's an old saying that goes, "It takes money to make money." In other words, in order to make some money, you need to be willing to spend some money. I have had many people come into my office and ask my advice. While I am more than willing to help my clients and potential clients, I find it troubling that many people expect financial advice for free. Financial advisors, myself included, charge a fee for the services we provide. However, I have encountered people who are adverse to paying any type of fee for financial planning. They would rather have the advice up front, for free. Would you go to your doctor or dentist, ask them what needs to be done, and then expect not to pay? Of course not. Financial planners are professionals, just as doctors and lawyers are. There is a fee for service. That being said, if you find that you are fee adverse, think about it this way. Many financial advisors charge their planning or retainer fees on an account balance basis. For example, let's assume that Mike Advisor, CFP, charges a 1% retainer fee to his clients. He bases the fee on their account balances. You, his client, have an account balance of $875,000. The annual retainer fee you would pay is $8,750. As your account balance goes up, so does his fee. But if your account balance were to decrease, his fee would also. Therefore, the more money you make, the more money your advisor makes. It's really a win-win situation for both of you because your advisor is going to want to see your account balance increase. He's going to do everything he can to see that you make more money. And what's wrong with that? What you don't want to see is your fee being increased while your account balance is decreasing. The financial planning process. Personal financial planning is the process through which you, along with your advisor, determine how to meet your financial goals. Financial planning distinguishes financial planners and advisors from other professional investment advisors who focus solely on individual products. Now that you have selected your financial advisor, he or she should address these 6 key areas. 1. Understand what your financial goals are. 2. Gather all essential financial information. 3. Analyze this information. 4. Make recommendations to help you achieve your goals. 5. Take action on these recommendations. 6. Review your progress. Your advisor's job is to listen to your concerns and objectives. Do you want to provide financially for your children or grandchildren's college education? Or is buying a vacation home in Florida your main priority? By telling your advisor what you hope to gain, that person will be able to guide you along the best path to help you reach your goals. An advisor's job, however, is not to make the decisions for you. He or she merely suggests what should be done. You are the decision maker. It's important to have realistic goals. Perhaps you can't afford to have your vacation home in Florida just yet. That doesn't mean you should give up the idea. You just have to work with what you have. Your advisor will be able to put you into investments that will have the potential to make enough money to get your vacation home. For example, a married couple comes in for an initial consultation. They are in their 40s and say that they want to have $3 million in performing assets in 5 years. A look through their assets reveals that they currently have $1 million total. But that figure includes their house, the surrounding land, and some other land they own. Their investable assets total $400,000. In this case, it's great that they had this goal. But while their net worth was very good for a couple their age, $3 million in performing assets in 5 years was just not realistic. In order for this to happen, they would need nearly a 50% return every year for the next 5 years. It wasn't that the $3 million in performing assets was the unrealistic part. It was the time frame in which they wanted to work. Your advisor will help you decide what goals should be short-term and which ones should be long-term. Most importantly, though, he or she will continue to provide client service. This means that as your needs change, your advisor will change with you to make sure you are still on track to achieving whatever your goal may be. Anyone can sell you an investment product. It takes a committed financial advisor to provide ongoing client service to ensure that you are heading in the right direction. Establishing a financial plan. Smart investors know that they must know where they are currently, what they want to accomplish, and they know that they need to have a game plan. A financial plan is just that, a financial roadmap. A sound plan should cover a broad range of topics that relate to your present security, as well as to your future well-being. It should include an analysis of your net worth, investable assets, commitment to goals, and a time frame. The successful plan is balanced, pinpoints your particular needs and goals, creates an integrated strategy to help meet them, and encompasses these 6 cornerstones. Examine your present situation. In order for your financial advisor to guide you along the path to achieving your goals, he or she needs to have a clear understanding of where you stand presently. This means figuring out your net worth and liquid net worth, examining your cash flow, and determining your cash reserves. Cash reserves are a vital part of your financial well-being. For instance, let's say you have $50,000 in your savings account and $3,000 in your checking account. You want to invest the $50,000 so that it potentially earns more than it does in a regular savings account. Now, I recommend keeping 3 to 6 months' worth of expenses as a cash reserve. Therefore, if you find that your monthly expenses after taxes are $2,000, then the $3,000 in your checking account isn't going to cut it. You should have at least $6,000 as a cash reserve. By analyzing your current situation, your advisor may find ways to help you save money and reach your goals faster than you may have known. Redirecting some of your money could help you put money away for retirement or achieve another goal without it seeming like you are spending any more money than you currently are. Have adequate protection. Protecting yourself from the unexpected is a vital element in financial planning. As time goes by, you change, and so do your protection needs. Having adequate protection means a number of things, such as providing for your family after your death, or replacing earning power after a disability. Protection means insurance, and while many people dislike the thought of insurance, it is terribly important. Many of my clients are already retired and older. They don't need any disability insurance since they aren't working, and for many of them, life insurance really would be a waste of money. However, long-term care or nursing home insurance is perfect. These are people who have multi-million-dollar net worths. To see all of their hard work, money, and possessions decimated by having to pay for a nursing home is sad and unnecessary. Many of my clients have opted to transfer the risk of paying for nursing homes rather than trying to self-insure or rely on family members. However, you may find that you don't require any type of insurance. Protection analysis looks at the different types of insurance and the most economically efficient ways to manage the different types of risk. Investment planning. Do you enjoy sitting at your computer Tax planning. Proper tax planning can be a powerful element in protecting and building your wealth. There are certain tax breaks that usually only the wealthy employ, and then there are the tax breaks that aren't tax breaks and are actually illegal. Financial planning can help identify the impact that taxes will have on you in the future. While we can't predict tax increases or decreases, we will have a good idea of how to minimize the taxes you pay, both now and in the future. There are a number of different tax-exempt and tax-deferred investments you can buy that will help reduce your tax burden. Virtually all tax-exempt investments are free from federal income tax, and many are exempt from state and local income taxes when purchased by residents of those states. The income paid on investments in certain tax-deferred products, like deferred annuities and universal life insurance, is not immediately taxable. Unlike tax-exempt income, tax deferment simply postpones the payment of taxes until receipt of this income at a later date. This helps reduce your tax bill in that by the time you receive the income from these investments, you may possibly be in a lower tax bracket, thus reducing the tax due. Retirement planning. It's never too late to start planning and saving for your retirement. If you have already begun, it will be helpful to review what you have achieved so far and what you need to do to get you to your retirement goal. If you have already retired, you will want to look at allocating your resources so that they may provide income for your entire retirement. Initially, you and your advisor should consider how much money you think you will need to live the kind of retirement you want. Into that equation, you will need to factor in any Social Security or pension benefits you're planning to receive. Your financial plan will tell you if there is an additional need for income and at what age you should be able to retire. From this plan, you will also know what additional savings are needed, if any. Since we can't predict what the stock market will do, it's important to update your plan fairly regularly, especially once you get close to retirement. Knowing your financial situation in regard to your retirement is essential to achieving the kind of retirement you desire. It's better to know sooner rather than later what you need to do to make sure that you can live the way you want. Retirement planning also addresses any job changes you have had or are planning to have. If you think you will be leaving your job, or already have, you will have to make a decision about what to do with your retirement benefits from that employer. Since for many people this is the largest amount of money they have handled, it's essential to consult with your advisor, who will help you choose the right investment vehicles and tax strategies for your retirement money. Your financial plan will address your specific concerns and help you pave the road to a successful retirement. Estate planning. You may be thinking that you don't need any type of estate planning because you don't have that much money. If that's the case, then you would be mistaken. Estate planning isn't just for the extremely wealthy. You may have a potential estate large enough to require the special information that your financial plan can provide. Besides, don't your goals include having enough money and assets to make your estate very large? It's important for you to know what will be available to your heirs when your estate is settled. Additionally, you want to make sure that estate transfer costs and estate taxes are as low as possible. Estate planning is a highly specialized area that your financial plan will cover. Your advisor will help you plan to ensure that there is enough estate liquidity to meet estate settlement costs, as well as address any other key estate planning concerns. Is a financial plan really worth it? People neglect financial planning for a number of reasons. Feeling that they have insufficient assets or income is one reason. Another is that people feel that their finances are already taken care of or are in good shape. While that may be true, everyone can benefit from hiring a financial advisor and having a plan. However, humans tend to procrastinate, often putting things off so long that it becomes too late. Plus, planning encompasses certain life experiences that may be unpleasant. While planning for retirement may be a positive experience, planning for a disability or death might not be.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?